Hello, this is the TradeSet US Stocks and Futures Market Preview and International Economic Data Roadmap for the week beginning Sunday, the 8th of March, 2020, ending Friday the 13th. Yeah, you heard it right, Friday the 13th. Just what we need is a Friday the 13th, right in the middle of everything else that's going on. Here's a look at the dollar index daily chart. So we've talked about how the market, the Forex market's been pretty dull for the last, I don't know, year plus. Well, yeah, that's the biggest move we've seen in quite a while. We did make some good money off of it. But in 2 weeks, we've basically covered the range. We haven't actually done anything different. We're still in the same range from the last year, but we did cover the entire range on the dollar index as the dollar heads just lower, with interest rates going to apparently zero and everything else related to the coronavirus. So here's a look at some of the other stuff. Euro dollar is the inverse of the dollar index, as usual. Went up this week. Pound dollar didn't do much. It's up a little bit, but it's not that amazing. And Aussie dollar went up earlier in the week, but went flat for the last 3 days. Euro yen has not done anything in all this. It's really just the dollar index by itself, along with the euro dollar. Here's the pound yen, did nothing this last week. The pound Swiss also did not much, and the New Zealand dollar pair. So, this is not that super interesting, other than the dollar index moving the way that it did. The euro dollar then, in 30-minute candles for the whole week, high to low for the week, is let's call it 300 pips, which is better than we've seen out of the euro dollar in a long time. That's just reality. It doesn't usually trade 300 pips in a week, although it used to all the time. Pound dollar, on the other hand, high to low for the week is, let's call it 350 pips, right? Which is good for the pound dollar, but it is what it is. We can't really change the fact that that move is not as huge, but we did make some good money on the pound this week. Let's look at the economic data coming out. So first things first, U.S. and Canada have their time change this weekend on Saturday going into Sunday. So that's going to shift everything an hour, even though some of the other countries either have or have not yet had the change, which offsets us, and that's kind of a weird thing for the Forex. It's the only market in the world where that type of stuff can happen. Japan's got their bank lending number, current account, final GDP price index. Monday, we've got economy watchers sentiment out of Japan, Swiss unemployment rate, German industrial production and trade balance, Centex investor confidence out of Europe, housing starts and building permits out of Canada, manufacturing sales out of New Zealand Monday night, M2 money stock out of Japan Monday night, retail sales monitor out of the UK, business confidence out of Australia, CPI and PPI out of China, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday. Tuesday, preliminary machine tool orders in Japan, that's in the wee hours of the morning. French final private payrolls and industrial production, Italian industrial production. China's new loans and money supply come out, I guess, at some point during the week. They don't really specify, but they list it under Tuesday. Final unemployment change here in Europe, revised GDP. U.S. NFIB Small Business Index at 5 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. 10-year bond auction out of the UK. Westpac Consumer Sentiment out of Australia. Going into Wednesday, GDP, manufacturing production, construction output, goods trade balance, index to services, and industrial production. Europe's German 10-year bond auction, UK's annual budget release, Canada's capacity utilization rate, US CPI, that's one of our big three. We had the other two. We had trade balance and the unemployment rate last Friday. So this is a half size. We'll be half size ahead of Wednesday for the CPI number here in the US. Crude oil inventories at 9:30. Federal, but that'll be 10. These are all shifted because my time hasn't changed. Crude oil inventories will be at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. 10-year bond auction at 1. Federal budget balance at 2. We have the PPI out of Japan at 7:50 p.m. Eastern Time. MI inflation expectations out of Australia. Rick's house price balance, foreign direct investment. Going into Thursday, Italian quarterly unemployment rate, industrial production, PPI, the initial and continuing jobless claims numbers, refinance rate. So this is the Bank of the European, the ECB rate announcement on Thursday. Natty gas here in the U.S. at 10:30 on Thursday. 30-year bond auction at 1. Business manufacturing index from New Zealand. FPI out of New Zealand. Tertiary industry activity out of Japan. Final CPI out of Germany, France, and then the import-export prices here in the U.S. CB leading index out of the U.K. and University of Michigan sentiment. That's it. That's the week ahead. Charts as usual brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple of weeks. Have a great trading week.